Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, as promised, we're doing a goal setting workshop for 2022. So I've got a worksheet here that I've created for you guys to help you to set your goals for 2022. It's really difficult to do anything really without knowing what the end goal is. You need to know where you're driving, what your destination is, in order to be able to get there, especially when it comes to business as well. It's really difficult. And I went through this also when I actually started this YouTube channel. I didn't really have a goal. I just started, and then at some point I started losing myself because I didn't know what I was trying to do with this. So I find that when you do this, I mean, obviously you should always have goals throughout life and the year, but I find that when you do this in the beginning of the year, it really helps you to start off the year being super motivated. And I think that that's something that all of us need after the last crazy 2 last years. If you're new here, my name is 𝗲𝗢𝗓𝗛 and I am a 7-figure Amazon FBA seller. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm an entrepreneur, YouTuber, podcaster, Amazon FBA coach, product developer, you name it, that's me. So if you're interested in any content in and around entrepreneurship, product development, Amazon FBA, any of that stuff, I highly recommend that you subscribe to the channel because I bring out weekly content. All right, so we're going to get straight into this. If you would like to download this document over here that I've made for you guys to help you to set your goals, you just need to go into the files section of the Amazon FBA Alphas Facebook group. So if you're not a part of that group, Amazon FBA Alphas, it'll come up on here right now. Look for that group. I'll also put a link to it in the description below. Go to the files section once you're in, and you can download this and fill it out. Otherwise, you can take a pen and paper and go through this as we go through it together. All right, let's start. So in order to be able to fill the rest of this out, which is all about your goals, etc., I honestly believe that you first of all have to know what are your core values. And this is something that I very recently discovered about myself and therefore am sharing it with you guys. I last year was put in a position where I was offered a project that on the one hand was basically asking me not to be my authentic self, trying for me to be something that I'm not, basically. And although this would have helped me to reach a certain goal of mine, a certain financial goal, because it was a pretty awesome project, on the other hand, it also went against my core values. And I'm the type of person where if I need to do something that is not in line with my values, it's going to be really difficult for me to do that. So I feel that in order to be able to set our goals, no matter what goals they may be, it could be family, it could be your personal development goals, your financial goals, your business goals, your weight loss goals, whatever it is, okay? If that is something that when you're put in a position where an opportunity comes along and it will help you to reach those goals, but it may conflict with your core values, the things that you look at like the 10 commandments of your life, it will be easy for you to then let go of that because it doesn't it's not in line with who you are. So I feel like this is the first thing that you need to start with. So I've put in here to try and take some time to figure out 5 to 10 qualities or values or ideals that define who you are. Or the person that you want to become. Maybe at this point in time, wealth is not part of your core value, but you want it to be. Or maybe you're not at this point in time of your life someone who, what part of your core values is acceptance, accepting the other or whatever it may be, but you want it to be. Okay, so or maybe currently family has not been the most important thing in your life and is not a part of your core values, but you want it to be. Okay, so That's what I mean by that. An approach that you could take that I've written here is I always, which would be your core value, because. So an example of that could be, I always expect clients to make it on time because I respect my time, or I always make it on time to a client because I respect their time. Okay. Or I never take on a project that conflicts with me being my authentic self because authenticity is important to me. Okay, so you could write down 10 or so statements for yourself that are like a part of your core values, or you can just write down the words that describe your core values like I've done here. So for example, family, trust, authenticity, loyalty, fairness, self-respect, freedom, leadership, creativity, inner peace. These are some of my core values. If you if an opportunity arises, right, that helps me to achieve a goal, but it conflicts with my core values, that is a problem, and I will most probably not take on that opportunity, and I'll work even harder to be able to achieve my goals because my core values are important to me. Okay. And again, this isn't something that I used to even think about. And as I get older, I realize how important these things are to me. So if you were to offer me a project that meant that I'm going to have to be away from my family for 6 months, my family is part of my core values, the answer will be no. Or if you're going to offer me some sort of opportunity that you ask me to be anything but my authentic self, the answer will be no matter how much money you throw at me, because I can't be anyone other than myself. Or I am extremely, extremely loyal, and let's just say that I'm in a partnership with someone and an opportunity comes up, which means that I have to basically, betray someone or anything like that, that breaks my trust or the person's trust in me. And because I'm a loyal person, the answer to that would be no, or anything like that. So another example would be, child safety is something that is very, very important to me. No matter what product development opportunity was to come up, if I believe that product could in any way harm a child or any human, but especially children, but anyone, it doesn't matter how much money I can make from that product, I would never go through with that. Okay, so understanding what your core values are will help you also when it comes to your goals, because once you know what your goals are and opportunities start to come up, you may be put in these types of positions. And I found that myself in this scenario last year, and I felt that it was important to start off with this. So once you have taken the time to fill this out, then fill out the rest of this worksheet. Before we begin, something that I get asked really, really often are what are the planners that I use to help with my productivity and setting my goals and my tasks for the day. I've put in here 2 planners. The first one is the Panda Planner, which is the planner that I use on the daily. And the second one is the Live Whale Planner, which is another planner that I absolutely love and use as well. So I've got links to both of them there if any of you want to go and purchase them. Once you understand what are your core values, then I want you to start to go through the worksheet and understanding your purpose or your goals that you would like to achieve in the coming year in 2022. Something I found really interesting, it's a little fact that I saw recently, was that only 8% of people who say that they have a goal or who have set a New Year's resolution actually achieve those goals or those New Year's resolutions. And I thought that percentage is just so small. And I don't want any of us to be one of those people. And that's why I think that when you fill out a worksheet like this and put it on in front of you, or you go back and look at it every couple of months and track, where you are in your, if you're on track for achieving these goals, I think that it helps to keep you motivated. So I encourage you for all of us, and this is including me. I also last year had really, goals that I really believed were achievable. Some things happened in 2021, which is my last YouTube video, that I couldn't achieve all of those goals, and it was out of my control. But the ones that were in my control, I did achieve. So I think that it's important to be able to track your goals as well, which is why I really encourage you to not just watch this video, but actually do the work and sit down and fill it out. So something that I think is absolutely crucial is to know what is your why. You can't set yourself goals like we just did with your core values. Okay, so those were your core values and like your 10 commandments. But in order to stay motivated, because life is, it's up and down, and life happens no matter what. Like, it's out of our control, certain things that come up. And it's very easy to lose your way or to suddenly not be as motivated as you were in the beginning. And going back and looking at your why will really help you. Okay, so why do you want to achieve these goals? Why is it important for you to succeed? Why do you do what it is that you do? So I wrote down some of my whys, and I've written freedom of choice, which is something that is extremely important to me. I first wrote down my son because obviously he is a part of my why. But even before my son came along and I wasn't a mother, one of the most important things for me in my life is to be able to have the freedom of choice, to be able to have mental freedom, to be able to have financial freedom, to be able to make a choice of how I control or how my day looks. And the only way that I can do that is, in my opinion and my experience, for me specifically, is to do what it is that I do. And the days that it gets hard and difficult, all I need to do is go back and say, this is why you need to be resilient. This is why you do what it is that you do. So go through that and write down what your why is. It will help you. What are your overall 2022 goals? Later, you'll break this down into bite-sized pieces according to wherever, it is, whether it's personal development, business, financial, family, whatever it is. So I wrote down some of my 2022 goals so that it can sort of give you an example. I'm reading it from here because I printed this out. I've actually done this. I'm walking the walk and talking the talk. Sorry, I'm walking the walk, not just talking the talk. So the first thing is, that's really, like, for example, one of my goals is to have a healthy pregnancy. I'm not pregnant yet, but I've been trying to get pregnant for the last year. I've been going through fertility treatment. I made a video about my 2021, and that was part of my hardships. And I believe that something that will possibly help me, okay, obviously this is partly out of my control and partly possibly not, that something that may help me is if I was to lose some weight, because the last 2 years I've gained a lot of weight. And if I was to start picking up better habits, I believe that this could help me. So, because the next question is, what changes do I need to make in order to reach my goals? So one of my goals is to obviously get pregnant and be able to have a healthy pregnancy. And then those are some changes that I would need to do possibly for that to happen. To increase my income by 20%. Delegation and building a team. So I outsource many things in my businesses, but many things in the 𝗕𝗢𝗓𝗓 brand. Okay, I'm not my physical product brands. I'm doing quite well there on a delegation level, but in the 𝗕𝗢𝗓𝗓 brand, I haven't. And I do so much today that building a team is really important. So one of my main goals by the end of the year is to work my delegation and building a team. I want to be able to automate repetitive tasks. Weekly dates with my husband is something that is really important to me, and I want to work on this year. At least 2 hours a day with my son. I'm a mother, and my goal is to spend at least 2 hours one-on-one time, just me and my son, on our own. It's something that is very important to me. And that is part of my goal. To create more offers within my personal brand, to reach 14,000 subscribers, to add 2 videos a week to YouTube. I've got some others here, but I think that that's enough. So what are your overall goals? And then later we will break them down into bite-sized pieces. And then what changes do I need to make in order to reach my goals? This is a really, really important question, because you probably already know what changes you need to make in your life in order to help you to reach your life goals, business goals, family goals, financial goals. There must be some changes that you need to make in order, or even sacrifices or whatever it may be, in order for you to be able to achieve or reach those goals, or to help you to achieve those goals. So for example, I wrote here, eat healthier, work out, sleep at least 6 hours a night, and wake up early. So for me, in the last 2.5 years, I've picked up on some really bad habits. And I worked myself way too hard in 2020. And that caused me to have my body basically to break down, because I just wasn't sleeping enough. So that is something that I know that will help me in many different things: energy levels, the brain fog I feel that I've been having recently, focus. Okay, I believe that eating healthier, working out, etc., all these things will help me with that as well. Better time management, and to stick to my daily agenda. Time management is something that I've always struggled with, because I'm the type of person that can get unfocused and then go from one thing to the other, especially when I juggle so many different roles within my businesses. It is something that I find always difficult to stick to. So I want to really work on my time management skills in 2022. And I'm sure many of you will also need to work on this as well. So that's why I also put in those planners, because although I do use my planner a lot, I also need to focus on better focus. So for example, if I'm in the middle of doing something and an email pops up, I'm not reading that email until a certain time of the day where is dedicated to reading emails, for example. So that is that. Letting go and stop being a control freak and start delegating. I wrote here better focus. I need better focus on myself, and also focus mode on iPhone. So if you have an Apple or an iPhone, you have the ability to put your phone or computer on different types of modes: do not disturb, focus, all sorts of different ones, sleep, whatever it may be. And when I am in focus mode, it basically means that unless something very important has come up, don't show me any notifications whatsoever. Okay, so that is an example. The next question here is, how will I stay accountable? A very, very important question, because you can write down goals and you can have all this figured out, but many of you may need to have some sort of accountability. So for each of us, it may be something different. For some of you, it may be that you need to hire a coach like me. For some of you, it could be that you need to find an accountability partner. For some of you, it could be that you have weekly or bi-weekly meetings with your team. For some of you, it could be that you have weekly meetings with your partner, whatever it may be, joining a mastermind. Okay, think about what's going to help you to make sure that you stay accountable. So for example, in my last video, I said that I'm going to be making 2 videos a week for YouTube, because one of my goals is to reach more people and be able to have more subscribers, so that I can reach more people with my type of content, because I think that my content is going to be able to help my type of people. And the minute that I put it out there and I made the commitment, or I put it out there to you guys, it means I have to stay committed. That then also helps me to stay accountable, because if I say I'm going to do something, I need to be able to do it. Or let's just say if you're in the middle of product research and you're finding it really, really difficult to actually sit down and do the product research, then, if you found another product research accountability partner or whatever it may be. The next question here is, who inspires me and who can I follow to stay motivated? You know the saying, show me who your friends are and I'll show you who you are. I think the same thing applies today with social media. Show me who you follow and I'll show you what mood you're in. I'll show you how you're feeling. I'll show you how you run your business. I'll show you, etc. The type of people that we follow on social media, that we listen to on podcasts, that we watch on YouTube, etc., will also, in my opinion, have a big impact on our motivation and our inspiration, that also helps us to then, fulfill our goals, or to work hard to try and achieve our goals. So for me, an example here is Gary Vee, Will Smith, Jamie Kern Lima, Sarah Blakely, even Oprah. There are certain people that I follow, and they're a very specific type of person that, well, for me, it's a type of people that are like, okay, life's shit, but like work through it, get over it, pick yourself up, do it, show up every day. That is the type of person that I follow, because that helps me to stay motivated, because that's also the type of person that I am. And anytime that I'm feeling down, which happened a lot last year, I have my type of people that I go and I'll listen to a video of theirs on YouTube or whatever it may be. So also know how to cut out the noise. You don't need to be following now a million people. Follow your type of people that inspire you and help you to stay motivated and are contributing to helping you to achieve your goals. How can I prepare myself for possible challenges that 2022 may bring? For some of you, this will be a hard thing to answer, especially if you're new to entrepreneurship, or if you're new to Amazon, or if you're new to business in general, because you may not know how many challenges may come up. Business is like continuous ups and downs. That's what business is. I've never met anyone who is a successful business owner, no matter what type of business it is, that has not gone through consistent challenges. It's like you're a firefighter and you're consistently putting out fires. And the more you're able to prepare yourself for that, the better. On the one hand, it could be mentally preparing yourself, or on the other hand, it could be actually preparing certain things that will help you. So for example, I wrote here, in the supply chain world, having a backup supplier. If anything goes wrong with your supplier, having a backup supplier will help you. Having a backup freight forwarder, for example. Having backup flat files ready to upload in case anyone was to mess with your listing. Whatever it may be, having a plan of action if you have a hijacker. Making sure that you are brand registered, you filed for your trademark. Preparing yourself mentally before a day like Prime Day if you have a best-selling product, because you may be attacked, or preparing your PPC for whatever. I don't know. Whatever it is, sit down and have a think about that. Okay, so the next thing that we will move on to is now personal development. So the overall goals that you filled out in the previous slide, I then want you to then take those overall goals and put them into specific categories. So personal development is going to be one, family is going to be one, business is going to be one, financial is going to be one. Whatever it is that obviously speaks to you. And then what I want you to do is to write, so for example, personal development, what are my overall personal development 2022 goals? And then do I break that into quarters of the year? Do I break that into months? Do I break that into half of the year, half of the first half of the year, the second half of the year, whatever it may be? Okay, it could be that in quarter one, part of my personal goal is to make sure that I lose 10 kilos. It could be that in quarter one, I want to make sure that I read 3 books. Okay, whatever it is. I gave an example here for my overall was to improve my time management and productivity, to listen actively, to improve my reading habits, healthier lifestyle, to lose weight, improve my social media. What I meant by that was to not be stuck on social media all day, to continue shutting out the noise. And there's a lot more here, but the point is I would then take those and see, well, can I break them into what am I working on when, for example. Okay. The next one is your family goals. If you're someone like in your early 20s and you know, family isn't like the most important thing to you, or you are, I don't know, in your 50s and you don't have anyone in your life, you're not married, you don't have children, family isn't really important to me, or whatever it is, or they're too far away, I don't know, whatever it is, you can skip this one. Okay. Otherwise, you know, for me, family is one of the most important things. It wasn't always one of the most important things, but today where I am in my life, it is the number one most important thing to me, more than money. Okay. Business is extremely important to me, and my businesses are like my babies. But today, my family is the most important thing to me. So overall goals could be, for example, to have another baby. An overall family goal could be to buy a larger house. It could be to move to a different area. It could be to have at least 2 hours with my son every day. It could be, let's say, go on at least 2 holidays every quarter, or whatever it is. Okay, for some of you, it may even be just to sit on a table and eat with your family every night. Okay, whatever your family goals are, these are important goals, and I encourage you to work on these goals as well. Maybe you don't need to break them into quarters. Maybe you don't break them at all, but know what are your overall 2022 goals. I can tell you that one of my overall 2022 family goals is also bringing back date night into mine and my husband's life, because we used to have date night every single week until my son came along. And that's something that we've been working on recently. Currently, we're at every 2 weeks having at least one date night, and I'd like to eventually be able to get to once a week. So for example, those are just some examples, but work on your family goals as well, because at the end of the day, family is just really, really important. So that's that. Business goals. So here you would take your business goals, break them into 2. What are the financial goals, and then what are your business goals? Okay. Many of you may have multiple businesses the same way I do. Many of you may not even have a business yet. You're trying to start your business. Then what is your goals? So for example, your goal could be to have 2 products into Amazon by the end of 2022. And then you can break that down into quarters. So to find a product by quarter 1, to develop to put on your purchase order, develop the product by quarter 2, to launch the product by quarter 3, to work on, to launch the second product by quarter 4, whatever it may be. Write down those business goals, and then break them down either into quarters or into months, or whatever makes sense for you specifically, so that later on you can also go back and track it. Financial goals is also something that, in my opinion, is extremely important. So for some of you who already have businesses, it could be that you want to, for example, one of my goals is to grow my income by 20% in 2022. And part of how I also want to do that is also by decreasing some of the spend. Some of you may laugh at this, but it doesn't matter how much money you make if you're spending 100% or 90% of what you make. So I'm nowhere at that point, obviously, but I did go through with my husband a couple of months ago when we were filing taxes. And we were going through all these different expenses, and then I realized that I pay for some subscriptions of some softwares and things that I don't even use. And it came out to be like hundreds and hundreds of dollars. May even been thousands of dollars. And that is just an example, obviously, but part of my goals is to unsubscribe from all of these things. Another goal, obviously, is to expand my brands. So, financial goals there as well, etc. This is an example of what your weekly agenda could look like if you don't purchase a planner or you don't have a planner. You could also just download this. I will make this available also in the file section of the alpha group. Or you could just take a piece of paper and draw this up, whatever, it doesn't matter. But I think that it's important to have weekly goals and then also daily goals, obviously. But really understanding what are the main goals that I have for this week, and then how can I break that down into purpose specific days. So for example, for me, I don't work on Saturday and Friday. I don't work on my businesses on those days. I'm only just with my family. And because I have multiple businesses, sometimes certain days are just for a specific business. So for example, on Monday mornings, all I do is go through my brand's PPC. I optimize my brand's PPC, for example. Okay. On a Tuesday, for example, I only work on making content for YouTube. I'm just giving that as an example. It's not an entire day, it's a certain part of the day. So be intentional and map out your priorities. When you write down what are your goals for the week, you'll know when am I working on what. Create a schedule for your ideal week. Okay, your ideal week. Create your ideal environment. This is something that is really, really important. Even though I've been doing this for a long time, I found that many people have not done this, and this is really important. You need to have a spot either in your house or in your office or wherever it is that is your ideal environment that you enjoy working on whatever it is that you're working on. Or even if part of your goals are to lose weight and your ideal environment to do sport is outdoors, and instead all you've been doing is walking on the treadmill, but you really want to do it outdoors, then do it. Be wherever your ideal environment is, or create your ideal environment so that can help you to stay motivated and focused when you're working on your goals. Batch similar flow into batches by timeframes or certain days. So for example, my coaching hours are in a batch of specific times on specific days. The hours that I work on communication with my suppliers are on a specific day, and I work with, let's just say 3 hours that I commit, or 2 hours that I commit to speaking to all of my suppliers in the same time zone. Or I've actually given an example here. So create time blocks, time you intentionally designate to focus on key areas in your life or key areas in your business. Make sure to include, I wrote family or me time, strategy, work, miscellaneous, and breaks. So these two really go sort of together. When you are making your planning your day, basically, or planning your week, you want to make sure that you want to create time blocks. So for example, let's just say if you have 3 different brands that you sell, Monday morning is committed to brand 1, and then Monday afternoon is committed to brand 2, and then Tuesday morning is committed to brand 3, as an example. Okay, that's just an example. And then creating time blocks. So for example, in advance, book out your me time, the time that you are doing whatever it is that you're doing for yourself or for your family. Or book out in advance strategy time. So let's just say every Tuesday and Thursday afternoon, I'm working on whatever strategy for my brands. Okay, it could be PPC, it could be product research, it could be optimization, it could be social media, whatever. Work. So things are like customer service, content creation. Okay. I would usually block those times in advance on specific days as well. Always leave room in every single day for miscellaneous things, or, things that could just randomly come up as life does. And always leave room for breaks as well, which is something that I did not used to do, and I make sure that I do today. I try and have a 5 to 10 minute break every 1 or 2 hours, depending on how I'm doing. And then I every single weekday have at least 2 to 3 hour break in the afternoon once my son comes home from kindergarten. Something that's important to say is focus on results, not tasks. Done is better than perfect. And I say this to myself as well. The most important thing is to get things done. Sometimes it's not going to be absolutely perfect, but something is better than nothing. And then also there is this daily agenda that I've made as well. So any sort of thing that I said for the week, you can also obviously do on a daily as well. So here are some notes that I wanted to share with you. A question I get asked often, especially as a mother, is work and life balance possible? So in my experience and my philosophy is, Of course, it's possible. However, there are certain times in your life where you may choose to be out of balance intentionally in order to reach a certain goal of yours, or there are certain times or certain circumstances where it simply isn't possible, where it's out of your hands. So there are times in my life where I didn't have work and life balance, but it was a choice that I made because I had certain goals that I wanted to achieve. So for example, it could go both ways. It could be that at some stage family or home life was a lot more important than business life, or the opposite. And there wasn't a clean balance there, but I had no choice, or that I did it by choice. It's about distributing your time in the best possible way that fits your life at that moment. You'll go through different stages of life, okay? And then the next thing is to always have clear priorities. Always prioritize your tasks or the things that you need to do. What is more important? What comes first? Whatever it may be. Make sure to rest. And it kind of being a hypocrite right now because I'm filming this at 1:30 in the morning. But it also shows this. So I'm doing that by choice. I made a decision today to not film this video in the afternoon and instead go somewhere with my son that I needed to go, that I didn't want anyone else to do. I wanted to do that, but I am committed to filming content on a Tuesday, and I said to myself that I'm not going to sleep until I create this video. So I did that, and that is my choice, but I also have not rested for like a second today, and that's why I'm saying I'm being a little bit of a hypocrite right now, but I do make time during the weeks and the days to make sure that I also rest. Okay, this is something that I did not do in 2020 at all. I started this YouTube channel in 2019. And before that, I was only working 3-4 hours a day because we started our brands in 2016. And by 2019, we were in a really, really good position. And we didn't have to work that hard. And then I started my YouTube channel and I started coaching, and all these other opportunities came along. And suddenly I was doing so many things and I was draining myself because I had I wasn't delegating things. I didn't build a team, and I was doing way too many things. I wasn't sleeping. Nothing that I was doing was healthy for me. And I drained myself so much, and I did not rest. I did not focus on I didn't take care of my body and my health, and me and my brain. And I had a breakdown at some point. So don't overwork yourself and make sure to rest. It is very, very, very important. Okay. For example, maybe I should have said, okay, I wasn't able to film today, and I could have filmed tomorrow instead and gone to sleep early and rested. But instead, because I made the decision to film this today anyway, I will go to sleep, and then tomorrow, maybe in the morning, I'll sleep in for an extra hour, for example. This is also something that I've recently added, that I've realized that's very important to me today. And schedule fun things to look forward to in your calendar. It's really, really easy, and I'm saying this as someone who has basically been guilty of this. It's really, really easy to become a workaholic when you own your own business. I am addicted to what I do. I love what I do. I love product development. I love selling online. I love coaching. I love everything that I do. And it's fun, but sometimes it can become boring, and you can become unhappy when that's all you have to all you have to look forward to. And I realized that in the last 2 years, obviously we've been dealing with COVID, etc. But even when the world started to open up back again, I wasn't really doing anything fun for myself. And I am today making it a priority for myself to book in fun things that I love doing, whether it be alone, with friends, with family, with my husband, with my son, in advance in my calendar. So make sure that you do that as well, so that you don't lose that happiness in life, and that you have something to look forward to as well. This is probably one of the most important things, and something that I didn't really do that well in 2021 that I'm really going to work on in 2022, and I encourage you to work on this as well, is tracking. Track your progress. So have a plan for tracking your progress against your goals. What are you going to track? Why is this measure something that should be tracked? So for example, my weight loss. Okay, it's important that I track my weight loss so that I can make sure that I am on track. It could be important that I track my sleeping, the amount of hours I sleep, to make sure that I'm getting enough energy, or whatever it is. Track whatever it is that is going to be important for your progress into achieving your goal. How are you going to track it? When will you track it? So are you going to go in and look at it daily, weekly, monthly? Okay, I've already made decisions for certain things that I'm going to track daily. I've also made decisions on certain things that I will only track monthly. Okay, so do that as well. And then where will you track? Where will you track it? In your planner, your app, etc. And then I've also included here again the 2 planners that I use, because I think it's really, really important to have, and these aren't like mine or anything. So, Panda Plan is a really well-known planner. This is something that I think is really, really important and will help you to be able to make sure that you are working in the most efficient way for reaching your goals. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I want to wish you all an amazing 2022. I hope that you kick serious butt in every aspect of your life, business, family, financial, personal development, etc. And I hope that you also look back at this at the end of the year and were able to achieve most of your goals as well. If you enjoy this video, please give it a like. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and also hit that notification bell. If you are in need of one-on-one coaching in your business or in your Amazon journey, or are looking for someone to help you to develop your products, I will put a link to my website down below. I also have a product research and sourcing course. If you're having difficulty finding your products and developing them and how to source them, etc., I encourage you to join my course as well. All right, guys, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.